Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. This is the second video of the day. Usually I'm live around that time. This time I just simply decided to go with a short video with my first impression about that new format, about the Champions League, about the entire Matchday one. I will not do a recap about every single game, but just about the first impressions. I hope you will enjoy that one because it's an important one, the Champions League for us Juventini. Before all the things, guys, look at that ranking. Stop the count. Immediately stop the count. If we can skip the other 7 games, we can freeze that ranking, I would be extremely happy. Now, for what? Because we know it, the first 8 teams in that one ranking, that's the big newness of the Champions League format 24-25, they go immediately without playing any playoff games to the knockout stages, waiting for the other ones, and there we wait, we play the round of 16, the quarterfinal, the semi-final, and then the final. Tell me, Beppe, you're dreaming too much, you're probably exaggerating too much, and probably you're right, but then in life you never know, huh? Who would have put one single penny on Dortmund arriving to the final of last year? Of course, they lost the final. We know about losing final, but that's not the point. So if we can stop the count, that would be extremely beautiful. Now that you did that, please put a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you're still awake, please let me know. Writing a comment here if you appreciate that late night video. Let me know. I would be really curious to read you because now we start. We start with my first impression. Guys, I don't know how you feel about it, but my first impression, really easy, before speaking about Juve, is there are too many games. There are too many games. 18 games in total, but I'm a bit lost. What is the ranking? What is where, who, what is the group A, group B? There is no group A, group B anymore. It's just one ranking. But it's really, I feel still a bit new, a bit confusing. I don't understand. I don't remember the games that were played. Probably also because this time, and it's the only time of Matchday 1, of the 8 match days that it has been split over the 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but on top of that, there were like 2 different moments to see the games. 6:45 p.m. the first game, and then 9 p.m. I'm speaking about Italian time. So if you calculate, we saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games in total that you could probably watch. Otherwise, you would watch the multi-live, because a lot of countries, they have also multi-lives where you see a lot of different games where they are scoring goals or not, the highlights of that moment. But according to me, it's really a lot to digest. No, seriously, I don't know about the last year. I didn't have that feeling. Maybe because it was more structured, because I knew that I was maybe not interested in Group E, so I didn't care about Group E or Group B, whatever. I was more focused on that group. Now there is absolutely no structure. So that makes it extremely difficult for me. That's the first feeling I have. Too many games. Then the second thing that we know, and especially if we are looking again at that ranking, what do we see? The goal difference is more important than ever. We had already some suspicions. We were already thinking about it. We started to talk about it. But it's really now, after all the first games have been played, that you really see the ranking, and that you really understand the difference and the importance of that goal difference. What do we see? Bayern Munich, they won 9-2. They have a goal difference of +7. They are there. They are there creating the gap. It's true, they have the same points as the 15 first team that won, because they all have 3 points. But it's true that they have the first ranking. And today you say, there are still 7 games to play. But more you will play games, more it will be difficult and interesting to see what the goal difference will be like. I'm really curious to see how many teams at the end of match day 8 will be at equal points. Not only for the top 8 position, but maybe the 13, 14, 15, 16th position will have the same points, and then the difference of goals matters. If it's 13, 14, 15, 16, we don't care, because we know it. For the people that do not know, the 8 first, they qualify immediately, and then from the 9th position till the 24th, well, there it's important because they play a playoff games, and 8 of them they go and they join the other ones. The other ones that are eliminated, of course, between the 25th and 36th is really out immediately. So it's really important between the 8th and the 9th position. It's also really important between the 24th and 25th position. That goal difference, pay attention. And that's why I'm a bit pissed off with that stupid goal that we are conceding in the last minutes, because we give up, because the game was not interesting anymore. Of course, the 3 points are the most important, but then that goal makes a difference. If we had scored that goal, you go up in the ranking. Huh? You really go up in that ranking. You are, if it depends also, today it's alphabetic, chronologic, but you go immediately in the top 4, top 5 position, which make, visually it's beautiful, even if it's only match day 1. The other thing that I wanted to say, not going into detail, but again, guys, Calcio is back. Calcio, but guys, in a strange way. Huh? The only team that won is Juventus Football Club. The only team of the 5 qualified Italian teams is Juventus. Juventus 3, PSV 1. Then we had the loss of Milan 3-1 against Liverpool. And then you had the Bologna 0-0. Inter 0-0, Atalanta, Arsenal 0-0. It's strange, I know that Inter and Atalanta, they played much more difficult games than we played against PSV, but in a way it's really impressive that the only 3 0-0 games of the entire 18 games were 3 Italian teams. Huh? Catenaccio, the beautiful game. It is what it is. Guys, it is what it is. You can try to take Calcio out of Italy, but it is impossible. The DNA is still there. Even if it's true that Atalanta, they missed that penalty, even if it's true that Inter, I told you, from the Italian teams was the one that really impressed me the most. I know that some people said, yeah, Beppe, but they wanted only to do counter-attack. Pay attention, guys, huh? You need also to do it well. You need to believe in what you are doing, and it's not easy to go with counter-attack, to defend, really being organized, so pay attention to that. It's not only attacking football that is beautiful. There are different ways to win in football, and what they did yesterday was really impressive. What was the most impressive team? Of course, Bayern Munich, even if the opponent was not the biggest one. They have a really easy path, a really easy journey, but from the moment they felt like, the game starts to be reopened because they were winning 3-0, then it was about to go 3-2, or it was 3-2, then they start to accelerate, and then they remembered, oh, pay attention, because the goal difference is important, and they didn't stop, which actually we did. We stopped. Bayern Munich 4-0, then they stopped. Leverkusen, were they really impressive? Yeah, they were in that first half. Wirtz, the 2 first goals of his career in Champions League, beautiful player. We are not playing against Leverkusen, so it's not really a problem. But we are playing against Leipzig. We are playing against Stuttgart. The 2 next games that will be, according to me, extremely important to really understand what Juventus can do in our 8 games and to understand where we can finish in that ranking. Why am I saying the 2 next games? Because I saw Leipzig losing against Atletico Madrid really in the latest minutes. They were playing away in a really difficult stadium, like the one of, what is it, the name? Wanda Stadium, Wanda Metropolitana, I don't know. But they did really, really well. We are playing in their home on the 2nd of October. So it will be a really tough game against the Leipzig that is extremely informed with really beautiful players. Stuttgart, if you're reading the result 3-1 against Real Madrid, you will probably think, it's easy, they lost 3-1, even Hendrik, 18 years old, scored a goal. No. Stuttgart was really into the game, and they were putting Real Madrid extremely in difficulty, until the game at a certain moment changed, but Stuttgart didn't deserve to lose 3-1. Absolutely not. So these 2 games will be important, because if we are going out of these 2 games with 6 points, which means that we will have 9 on 9, then I really believe that Juventus can hope, can believe in finishing in the top 8, qualifying immediately. If not, it will be really difficult. I tell you, it will be really difficult, but also other positions can be possibly at risk, because you know it, more you go lower in that first 24 position, more you have chances to play against a really big team. So then it starts to be difficult, because you play City at a certain moment in December. If you lose that game and you are not at full points in the beginning of the games, then you will start having the stress factor. You play against Bruges that lost 3-0 against Dortmund. But also there, it's a result that is a bit lying, because until the 76th minute, they were doing 0-0 and they concede 3 goals in really the end of the game. But then you go to Bruges, which should be easier on paper, the easiest game on paper for Juve, but you go with a stress factor, because if you lose against Manchester City, if you are not at full point, if you are starting to have some doubts, you play against Bruges knowing that you're obliged to win. Hey, with that stress factor is changing a lot. And then you play against Benfica, and I don't have really beautiful memories of Benfica that today won 2-0. What about our other opponents? Aston Villa won against Young Boys 3-0. Lille lost against Sporting, but also there influenced by a red card at the 40 minute. And speaking about that, probably the surprise of that match day one is Monaco winning over Barcelona. That was in super form in that beginning of the season. But also there, immediately in the beginning of the game, red card for Barcelona, so they played nearly the entire game with 10 men. They were able to equalize on a 1-1, but then at the end, they lost 2-1. Why am I saying that it's extremely important? Because there is no home and away. You can't calculate too much just with your group, taking care about the other 3 teams. Now there are 36 teams that you need to really pay attention with. And that's making that difficulty level a bit higher or a bit more difficult. You just can't count. And that's why I'm saying you, when you arrive to a game is important. The form you arrive, the injuries, but also in a game. You can't do stupid things. Red card, and you miss not only that game, that you continue to play with 10 men, but also the next game you will lose that man because he will be disqualified. So pay attention also to the fault that you commit, and that's why we have a positive news against PSV, 0 yellow cards, and that's a really beautiful to keep in mind. Look, I told you about the next 2 games that will be super important against 2 extremely strong teams. Leipzig in form, Stuttgart in form, so that's where we'll need to do the best. I don't know, guys, that was it a bit for me, without really giving you all the recaps of the game. Yeah, that's my first conclusion. Bayern Munich 9-2 is, of course, the most crazy game in terms of goals. I loved our game. Manchester City Inter were really, again, impressive according to me. Atalanta didn't play bad, but again, they missed that penalty with Retegui disaster on that penalty spot. I don't understand that Zaza is not fashion anymore in terms of taking penalties. Stop it. Just stop it. Then I try to understand if there were other really games that were, I don't know, too many games. You see, too many games. And that's actually to close the beginning of the video where I told you that I think there are too many games. Anyway, put a maximum of like if you enjoyed it. Please continue to subscribe. Grazie, forza. Juve. Ciao.